Hey everybody, welcome to my transformation video for XTB Groundbite, aka Scrapper. So, he comes in alt mode, so that's where we're going to start. First thing, let's fold up his hands. So, you want to fold the three fingers just all the way in, and then the first finger will go into the little corner by the thumb, and then you fold up his fingers. So it should be looking something like that. Okay, and then you're going to open up the arm panel. It's going to open up toward the inside. There we go. Flip that down, rotate around, and then flip it all back in, making sure that panel is flat and flush. Good, and close that up. Then we'll compress the arm, and that's one done. Let's do the same on the other side. Open it up, flip it around, put it in, and close it back up, and compress. There we go. Bring them forward, and we're going to disengage the butterfly joint. Then we're going to come under here, these little clips, pull those out on each side, slide this off of its slider, and then you can extend all of that. Then we're going to take the head, we're going to bring it back. I'm going to engage the ab crunch, rotate the head, put it in. Now, you can put it in sideways, you can put it in facing like that, you can put it in like that. The biggest thing is, you've got two ports going into these two posts. So you got to do one that fits, and you can see the head's facing backwards. And there we go, nice and flush. Now that ab crunch is important, otherwise it will hit the top of the head. I've already given mine a nasty little mark because I didn't know that the first time. I'll just extend out the bucket here and we'll come back to that. Now we're going to work on the legs. So, I'm going to give them a little bit of a spread, and I'll re-engage these butterfly joints just so they don't get all floppy on me. There we go. So I'm going to come to the back of the leg. I'm going to bring the heel spurt and toe together, like such. I'm going to bring this panel, rotate it out. Then this, I'm going to untab the die cast piece, and then I'm going to pull up on the plastic piece, disengage it, get it out of the way. Next, I'm going to push on this, which will open up this panel, and I'm going to flip it around. Now this is only for alt mode. For combined mode, you want it with this facing out. But for alt mode, you want that out. Then I'm going to flip this panel out. Toe rotates in. I'm going to bring this out and bring this in and bring this out. And I just grab it in the middle here, and there we go. The middle section of this little grill is a little bit beefier than this, so I like to grab this to do the rotate instead of that. All right, now bring this diamond plate piece out, and then you've got this square tab that's going to go into this square slot. Bring the little green hip skirt out, and we're going to rotate the entire thing. And for this, just use the outward motion as you need to make sure all this clears. It doesn't give you any problem, it shouldn't anyway. And then just give it a good little bit, just rotate and move around as you need to. In the end, it should be looking like that up front. Here, let me right side up here. So it should be looking like that. And the leg will be looking like this. We're bending it at the lower joint. The upper joint should be pretty much flush. So now that I'm at this point, I'm going to bring all of this. There we go. Oof, almost lost my sense of direction for a second. You've got this tab, or slot, going into this tab that we flipped up. So you're going to bring it around, get that tabbed in, and for this back grill piece, you want it, if you have it all the way out or something like this, it's not going to work. You want it to be roughly where it's going to be sitting. So you just tab in the one, and then you can tab in that grill, and there you go. And now For the one leg, I'll go ahead and bring this down. Let me finish unfolding this. There we go, you've got 3 panels. The tab on the end here is going to go into a very small slot in the crotch. And yeah, there. Right there. And there you go. That's how the one leg's going to sit. Alright, okay. Now we're going to do the same thing on the leg. And I'm not going to bother fast forwarding or anything. I'm just going to show you again, but I will go a little bit faster. So, heel and toe together. Flip this out. Open that triangle piece. There we go. Bring that out. Okay. Panel. Push out on this inner panel. And then on this side, it's the same exact thing. It's just a different piece. It's the exhaust instead of the air filter. Alright, toe in. Bring this out. Bring the diamond plate out. And then again, outward motion. Bend at the lower knee joint. I'll fold this in right now too. And get it all together. Now, before we close it up, you've got 2 skinny tabs in here. And actually, let me stretch it back out because one of these is a pain for me. So you should be able to grab it by the long side and just flip it out, right? This one for me is a royal pain. I have to use a spudger, and I need to try and get a knife or something in here to help clean it up. There we go. I'm wondering if it might be too much paint inside the hinge. That's kind of what it feels like. So there's that, and let me bring out this grill piece. Now I'm going to tab it in back here, just like we did on the other side. Good. I'm going to tab in the grill, just like we did on the other side. And now, you've got 2 slot tabs there, and a tab there. You've got a tab there, with a slot there, slot there. You've got the tabs and slots in the middle of the legs. And for this upper tab, you got tab and tab. This one goes kind of in front of that one. So you just bring it together, and it should pretty much all line up pretty well. And just squeeze it together. And make sure your 2 diamond plate kickboards up here, those square tabs are in the square holes. Good squeeze, and there you go. Bring the seat up. You can bring the controls up if you wish. I will, because it is still part of the transformation. And then down here, before I close that up, I will show you the weapon storage. Compress the gun. You want the nozzle of the gun facing forward. So, you've got, yep, right here next to my thumb, you've got a slot for a tab here. So, get that tabbed into the one side. There we go. And then, as you put this in, which, for reference, it would have been a little bit easier to do it as I was closing the legs, but, there we go. We got it. That is in. And then just rotate the wheels down until they hit their detent. And that is the back of Scrapper. Now, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to rotate the arms 90 degrees. You want these slots facing inward because you've got this tab for this slot. And then a small slot here for a tab right underneath the ladder. It's this one right here. So, bring them in. And is what I like to do is I'll get the big tab first and then I'll get that one. Squeeze them in on the side and then lift it up, because by lifting it up, you just use the ab crunch. So there we go. I'll open that up all the way. Now I can set it down while we continue. So, slide this all the way up if you haven't already. I didn't do it earlier, so you've got these sliders. Now I like to use a spudger to get under there because leverage. They have little detents, so you just need to lift them up just past the detent, and then you should be able to wiggle them out. I like to do it little by little, one at a time. There we go. They've got detents, so just go up until you hear them kind of click into place. Oh, this top piece isn't all the way up there. It is. Now bring it down, and these hinges will go into these. There we go, a good healthy snap. Now I'm going to lift up on the steering wheel cover, bring the steering wheel out. And you see it's got that little tab sitting on the panel. That should be straight up and down to go into this. And it shouldn't take a lot of force. Really should not. If you do press down too much, you're going to disengage the steering wheel from the thoops it's on, which I think I just did. And oh boy, what a fight it is to get that back out because you have no room. But I showed you how to transform it, so I'm going to move on. That's what you do for the roof. Spin it around, unfold that. Now when it comes to the bucket, so you take this and you bring it up. These little metal rods, they're just going to thoop into place. But you straighten all that out. Make sure that's, yep, there we go, that's straight. And then you can put these back in to those notches. But it's kind of optional. You can do that, you straighten that out, and then there you go. You got the bucket. You can manipulate it if you want. You do have a little bit of room to move the bucket by itself. But if you want, you can leave those out, and then you can move these bars up and down as well. It's just a play feature at this point. So there you go. There's X-Transbots Scrapper in his alt mode. All right, and now we're going to go into combined mode. Super easy. So I'm going to start up here. I'm going to flip this around, and I do hold these supports because they are thin. Then let's see what's next. I'll go ahead and fold the steering wheel back up because I definitely did pop it off those friction hinges. And yeah, that is a fight to get it back on because no clearance. So I'm just going to make sure to fold that in and hope that I can get it closed up enough to finish the video and fight with that later. Here, bring this canopy up, unpeg the arms. Just be careful. If you straighten out that ab crunch and put force on it, you could ding the head. So try not to straighten the ab crunch out. And you know, I'll go ahead and pull it apart. There we go. Need to do that anyway. Now can I get under here and get this loop situation good? Yep, perfect. And fold the steering wheel in. Hopefully you didn't have to go through that process. But I showed you, so if it does happen, now you can see what to do. Next, I'm going to do the bucket. So you've got these very, very, very small tabs here in the corner. I use a spudger and I just pop them out. Right in here, you just fold them out. And you fold them out as far as they'll go. And then you bring them back, and those two should basically thoop into the end of this bar. Right, they'll just line themselves up, thoop in place, and there you go. Bend it. I'm going to lift up on the die-cast rods. Bend it back until those thoop into place at this front joint. And then these rods will go into here. And let me also do the bucket, because this one for me is a real pain, just because it sits very flush. Come on. There we go. Okay, I just want it up a little bit. Because once I lock these in place, I'm going to lose a little articulation in the bucket because it locks them. So, little triangle tabs on the end into these square slots. And you just bring them down, put pressure right above the tabs, and there you go. They're going to thoop, maybe snap into place. It depends on how strong they are. And just lift these up. These will thoop into place. Butterfly joints, open them up, rotate the arm down, slide it up on this slider, and then you've got a tab and slot right in there. Lock it. Do the same on the other side, and then rotate the legs 90 degrees so that this is how it is all sitting. Okay. Let me readjust a tiny little bit. So now what we're going to do, we're going to bring this down and we're going to slide it in on its detents. There we go, it'll swoop into place. And slide this one down, and then I'll leave this up for now, but we will fold this down. Fold down the chair and both controls. Now for back here, you don't need to disassemble the entire thing, you just need to flip these two pieces around. So what I do is I'll get in here, I'll open up the grills, and I'll use a spudger to push from underneath. Do that for both. There we go. And you just want to rotate these panels around so that the little nubs that are out for robot mode are also out for combined mode. Then you can just close these up, give them a good squeeze. Okay, now I'm going to fold this up. And I do believe... Oh yeah, I did fold this back down. I'm having a brain lapse, I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, but yes, fold this piece back down like how it is for robot mode. And the last thing is the combiner piece. So open up this smaller piece. Open up this bigger piece, it doesn't open much. You just slide it on. You've got two tabs, and these two slots, the tabs go into here and here, slots will go over the taillights. These ports will go over those, and these little hooks will hook in under the rear bumper. I'll show you that a little closer. So you just slide it on, do the big piece first, and then bring this in, and you see it just goes under the rear bumper, and that is it. That is X-Transbot's Scrapper in his leg mode. Alright, and now we'll go back to bot mode, and that'll be that. So first, this piece, pull it out to disengage that, and then you can open this up and just slide the combiner piece off. Now, we're going to do the bucket first. I'm going to fold this big panel back over and into the bucket. I'm going to fold these two back over and under the bucket. Now I'm going to disengage the metal rods. Now what I do is I'll put a finger as close to the joint as possible, my thumb on the bucket, and with my finger and thumb I'll, push down and pull up, right? It is tight. There's one. Now, this one's a little bit tighter for me. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm also going to try and use a spudger. There isn't a lot of room to use a spudger though, so that's why I don't just only do that. There we go. Whew. I appreciate that they're tight because it's a locking mechanism for combined mode, but man, it is a little scary. I'm going to disengage the locks for the bucket hinge. So I can rotate this up, bring this down, and fold in these super tiny square tabs that we had to use a spudger for. Then I'm going to move the bucket at the forward hinge and close up these die-cast pieces. And then I'll fold this up, which, as you saw, slot and tabs into itself. And I'll leave the upper body for now. Actually, it will bring up, open up the butterfly, slide it upwards. And that's that. Let's see here. Yeah, let's just finish the upper body. Let's just finish it. The head. I have to use a spudger to get the head out. There we go. Open that up. Rotate the head out. You do need to go sideways to clear. So you have to have the head sideways to get it in and out, but once it's in, you can rotate it a little bit. So there you go, the head's in. Now, I'm going to compress it all. And this hinge is going to be going into basically his armpit. Basically making a big Z out of the linkage here. You just bring it all the way in, bring these tabs, and you'll know they're right because you can close them in like that. Alright, and then slide this out just a little, and it doesn't really tab, but it does help like swoop into place over that, right? Nope, sorry, there is a small slot for the tab at the top of the bucket. So there you go. It should be looking nice and flush. And now we can close up the two butterfly joints. You see, this is the mark. I pointed it out in my review, I believe. But that's the mark from me having the head installed and trying to straighten the body completely out with the extension not engaged. Ooh. Wish I had thought about that. Okay, so now we'll do the lower body. I'm going to rotate the wheels back all the way until they hit their detents. Okay, I'm going to split the legs. Now you do want to be careful, don't need to go all the way, just split them a little bit. Disengage these crotch panels, remove the gun. Now once we're at this point where they're disconnected from the crotch and they're split, we can go ahead and close this up. Only reason I'm doing it now is just kind of for clearance. Open up these grill pieces and we'll just pick a leg. We'll just do this one. Open that up. Yeah, disengage it from that slot and tab, and then bring it outwards, and again use the outward hip motion to help straighten it. Now we're going to close up this diamond plate panel, close up this small panel up here, bring the toe and heel out, and it kind of auto transforms when you get to a certain point. It'll split itself. We've already got the shins set up right, so now we're going to bring this triangle piece all the way out. We're going to fold this up 1, 2, 3 times. We're going to fold this grill piece back down and tab it in. And now we're going to close it up. And you've got these 2 small tabs going into these 2 small slots. And you've got a small slot right in here. Yep, you can see it next to my fingernail. That's going to be for this tab right here. So just bring it around and get it in. There we go. Then you rotate this piece back up all the way, bring the heel spur out, and you can bring the hip skirt down. And that's one. You're going to do the same on the other side. So pull that down, stretch all this out, close up that trim panel, bring out the toe and heel, close up this small panel, close up the grill, make sure all the covers are extended, bring this triangle piece down or out, fold once, fold twice, fold 3 times, bring it around and get it tabbed in. And remember, you do have the multiple hinges here, so it's, you know, you've got a little bit to play with to get it in. Close that up, heel backwards. This is what the inside of the leg is going to be looking like when it's all said and done. That's one side, and that's the other side. Bring the legs down, hip skirts, compress him. Good, and when you do, there are small purple tabs right here on both sides. Those are going to go on the outside of the hip area. And I mention that because if you have the rotate engage or like a side to side, they may not line up right off the bat. So just make sure they end up in place like that. Bring the arms down. Extend them. I like to grab the bicep area and grab the forearm and then just give it a good pull. You should get 2 clicks out of each. This one's a little bit stiffer for me, so let's see. There we go. And then we'll open up the panel. Again, they open up toward the inside, so open that, bring it out, give it a rotate. And I just try to do it without using the hand to grab a hold of. Close that up. Open this one. There we go. And there you go. Gun, just pull the nozzle, and that is it. That is Transbots Groundbite, aka Scrapper, in his 3 modes. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this helped some of you, and even if it didn't, I hope it got you some entertainment value. So hope to see you again next time, and until then, peace out.